Hi, Guy Dumas here, or my real name, Nimheto Penese. I come from the Cree Nation in northern Manitoba. I am an author, an entrepreneur, and a self-proclaimed Indigenous economist. Thank you for visiting with me today. In this day and age of real uncertainty out there in the economic world, this means that there's also a great opportunity. And this opportunity is probably going to come and go just like most cycles that happen. Things that occur in our economy, it rises and it falls. And this opportunity that I'm referring to is related to the monetary policies and the money that we use. The opportunity that we have today is that we could take our own monetary policy. We can create our own monetary plan. Who says that we need to wait for government to do that for us when we could do it ourselves? There's a lot of different ideas out there about the monetary policy and the monetary issues that we have, and we need to take responsibility for all of them. Growing up, we were never taught the value or even the concept of money. In fact, we didn't even know we were poor. So growing up as a kid, we experienced many challenges that had to do with the way that the economy worked, with little or no realization of anything. And so growing up, there was really nothing there for me to understand or to know. And so I struggled through the teenage years and into my early adolescent years because I had no grounding, no education in finance or economics or anything that had to do with how money worked or how any of that worked. It was all foreign to me. And it was just recently that I began to understand that it just plays a pivotal role in almost every aspect of my life. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to teach you a framework that's based on a native perspective perhaps, or an indigenous philosophy on money, finances, and economics. And it's not a new idea, it's an idea that's been around for thousands of years. So I'm just presenting it into a new framework. In First Nations country or in the indigenous philosophy, you've heard concepts of the medicine wheel teachings and the seven grandfather teachings. Well, the way that I'm going to wrap this framework is going to be based on the concept of the seven grandfather teachings. If you know anything about these teachings, then understand that I'm framing it in such a way to help us understand our relationship with money, economics, business, entrepreneurship, social business, social economy, and all of that. When I talk about the seven grandfather teachings, it's not necessarily in a hierarchical manner or in a step-by-step fashion. These seven grandfather teachings happen simultaneously, all at the same time. However, just to ensure that we get the idea of what that is, I'm going to just briefly touch on each of them as we proceed through the presentation here. Before you start on any aspect of life, especially your relationship with money, especially your relationship with how the economy works and everything else that's associated with how money works, the first place that you need to start is with courage, the grandfather teaching of courage. And once you wrap your mind around that idea of how you need to be courageous to be able to address the many issues, the many myths, misconceptions, the many ideas that we've been conditioned regarding money from both the government, the central planners, the banks, the institutions, all these people that have a vested interest in keeping us ignorant. The other stages that I'm going to be talking about are going to be very brief, and I'm just going to start off with the idea again is that it has to be based on courage. Once you have courage, then you move up to the other stage or the other level. And keep in mind, I'm not talking about this in a hierarchical manner. As I mentioned, these all happen simultaneously. So the next grandfather teaching is respect. In order to have respect for the finances or for the money or for the monetary policy or for the economics that happen in our life, we have to have a certain respect in ourselves first before we portray that respect to the aspects that are affecting our everyday life. Once we have that, then we have to actually experience the next grandfather, which is humility. We have to be humble enough to know that we won't necessarily know all the answers. We won't be the best in everything. We won't become rich overnight. We won't